Hey everyone, our fish of the day today, sharks. Everybody loves the sharks because Shark Week every single year. Everybody's a little bit scared of sharks because they got teeth. Some of them have big teeth. We're also scared of sharks because our parents are scared of sharks because they saw this movie called Jaws. More on that in a little bit later. We're talking about sharks today. Sharks, what type of fish are they? Well, they're cartilaginous fish. Write it down in your notes. They're cartilaginous fish. What does that mean? That means they have no bones. They only have cartilage. No, I'm not going to do it this year because you're not here. But in previous years, we dissected sharks this week. What I would do is I would order some dogfish sharks. Dogfish sharks are about 3 feet big. What we would do is we'd cut them open. We'd see its teeth and feel its teeth and how hard and sharp they are. We'd see all the different rows of their teeth. And we'd start to dissect into the shark. We'd open up its stomach and see what it ate. One year, one of our sharks just ate an octopus. You could see the tentacles of the octopus were still inside the shark. Then we look at the liver. We'd squeeze the liver and see all the oil that's in the liver. Then what we'd do, this is kind of gross. Then what we'd do is we just cut into the head. And when we cut in the head, it'd be like a knife going through butter. There's no bones. There's only cartilage. So with our little scalpels, what you could do is you could just saw right through the skull and then you could get to the brain. We're talking about their fish. They're cartilaginous fish. That's what we write down. But now we got to understand, what does that mean? Well, by being cartilaginous fish, that means, wait a minute, think about it. Think about it a little bit more. Cartilage. What's the specific gravity of cartilage? Yes, 1.01. Remember, water is 1.0. So by being 1.01, cartilage just barely sinks in the water very, very slow. So for these things being made up of a cartilage, they could get big. They could get really big and not sink down to the bottom. I got some numbers and some facts a little bit later for you. What we wrote down on our notes is that they're a cartilaginous fish. That means they're only made up of cartilage, and that barely sinks in the water. Sharks. We're talking about sharks. Gosh, we could do a whole week on sharks. We could do a whole month on sharks. That'd be a whole lot of videos. Let's just do a little bit here today. Sharks. How many different types of sharks are there? Well, there's 360 different types of sharks. Oh, there's some fascinating sharks. Let me show you. There's this one shark that they just discovered a couple years ago. There's this one shark. It's called the cookie cutter shark. Please show Smartboard the cookie cutter shark. I'm over here. I'm at the computer. I got it. The cookie cutter shark, it's only about 12 inches big. It's called the cookie cutter shark because what it does is it goes up to whales and dolphins and it takes a bite out of their blubber. And what it looks like is just like a cookie scoop was taken out of the whales or dolphins. Like this one right here was eaten by a cookie cutter shark. Fascinating. Now, you might be scared about sharks. I'm going to get eaten by a shark. I'm going to go surfing. There might be sharks in the ocean. I am scared. But I got to show you some facts. Maybe we just don't understand the sharks. Smartboard, show it, please. In 1 year, there's only about 70 to maybe 100 shark attacks in the whole wide world. Of these, there's only 5 to 15 people that died because of their shark attacks. I guess we shouldn't be shy scared of them all. Like there's this one shark. I gotta go over here again. There's this one shark that lives down in Australia. It's this one right here. It's called a wobbegong shark. Now, the wobbegong shark, it's only about 24 inches long. It's in Australia. It lives in the shallow water. You can see it's camouflaged. And what it does is it sits down at the bottom and it waits for a worm to come by. And if a worm comes by, it's going to go eat the worm. But it's in Australia and the water is warm. And people go wading out in the water. And they'll wade out in the water and they may step on a wobbegong shark. Well, what is the wobbegong shark going to do? Well, the wobbegong shark is going to turn around and bite the person. And that's considered to be a shark attack. Did the Wabigon shark mean to bite the person? No, it was just scared. It was trying to defend itself. But yet that would be considered a shark attack. I guess we shouldn't be scared of these things. We just don't understand them. And I think that's the purpose of Shark Week, but I think maybe it's being magnified a little bit more in what a vicious creature these things are. We got to get into that a little bit later. Sharks. Talking about sharks, there's 360 of them. Like I said, there's only 60 of them that have ever eaten or taken a bite out of a person. I got a boring fact here. They have 8 fins. They have 8 fins. That's just so not exciting. I mean, they got a fin here, they got a fin there, they got a fin. But maybe because they have these fins, it's led to a big problem with the sharks. See, some people, they go out there and they catch a shark. They reel in the shark. They kill the shark. And after they kill the shark, then they go back. I think I can reach it. They cut off its fin. Now why? Why would somebody cut off its fin? Well, a fin is just made up of cartilage. Now, the cartilage inside this fin, it has no taste. But if you take this fin, and if you put it in a bowl of soup, and a whole pot of soup, and if you let it boil for like 3 hours, all of a sudden the cartilage inside this fin starts to ooze out, and it oozes out into the soup. Now again, cartilage has no taste itself, but what it does is it makes the soup, so thick. And now it's thick soup, and this is called shark fin soup. And now that the soup is nice and thick, when you drink your soup or eat your soup, the soup just, it just sits on your tongue. It doesn't, it doesn't roll off your tongue. So by having the soup nice and thick and it just sits on your tongue, all of a sudden, all the chemicals that are inside the soup has a chance to diffuse into your tongue and react to your taste buds of your tongue. And all of a sudden, you get more of the flavor out of the soup. It's called shark fin soup. And it's a big delicacy in Asian cultures. And because of that, sharks have been overfished. They've got 8 of these fins. They cut them off, and then they sell them over in Asia for shark fin soup. Oh, I gotta show you a video. I may cry a little bit.
It's been estimated that 90% of many of the large pelagic sharks have been fished out of the oceans in the last 50 years. 10% left within 50 years. We're just too good at fishing, and now we've got this practice that's actually targeting sharks. It's a real ocean crisis.
Sharks have shaped evolution in the ocean. The fact that fish are camouflage, their speed, their behavior has all been influenced by the shark. So you remove the shark and then you can cause some serious problems with diversity in the oceans.
Shark finning is the process where a shark is caught, it's brought aboard, quite often it's clubbed or stabbed to avoid harm to the fishermen, and the fins are cut off and the animal is thrown back over the side alive. The shark fins are very valuable. They're the most valuable dried seafood product per weight. One fin can cost hundreds of dollars. It's highly prized in Asian cuisine for shark fin soup. And this was a ceremonial dish at one time, hundreds of years ago. Unfortunately, it's become extremely popular in banquets and business luncheons. So where once there was just a few people eating shark fins, now there are literally millions of people eating shark fin, and it's decimating the species literally around the world ocean. Sharks are extremely vulnerable to overfishing because they have very late onset of reproduction, sometimes 15, sometimes 20 years for some of the larger sharks. They're much like humans in that respect. They also have few young. So if you're killing a shark, you may be killing a shark that's never had a chance to reproduce, or you may be killing a shark that can only have maybe 25 or 30 children, if you will, or pups, in its entire lifetime. It's not like a fish that could have billions of eggs, that can broadcast millions of eggs out there and have a high percentage of success. You kill a great white shark and you can knock out a generation in a local population.
The sharks are going to be gone in decades, not hundreds of years. They're going to be gone in a decade or two. They're just going to be gone. It's already happening in places where there are specific shark species that you don't see anymore in certain parts of the world at all. They're never sighted anymore. And it's not because they've decided to go somewhere else. It's because there simply aren't any left. Because if you can get $12 for a fin, US dollars for a fin, in a place where you might make $9 a month in wages, you'll kill as many sharks as you possibly can in a month to make 100 times what your normal income would be. And that's the profit motive. That's the incentive. Because that's why in places like Galapagos, they'll kill 1 million sharks in a year. In one island chain, they'll kill 1 million sharks and 1 million fins at $12 a piece.
Sharks mean a healthy ocean. If we're taking sharks out, we're taking the regulator out. We're taking the animals that are really keeping things clean, that are really keeping animals strong. And it's not only the sharks that are going, it's the big fish.
Really, they're shooting themselves in their own foot. So by killing that apex predator, they change the whole pyramid, and the fish will go somewhere else. The same thing that happened in Southern California. You kill all the sheephead that eat the urchins, and then the urchins explode, they eat the kelp, and then the kelp goes away, and then all the species on the west coast of the United States have disappeared because there's no kelp, because they all depended on living in the kelp. So one thing always affects something else.
You can go down to San Francisco Chinatown right now and walk into any number of restaurants and order a bowl of shark fin soup. It's not illegal. It's commonly served. It's everywhere. It's really not a cultural thing. We can change.
See how thick that soup was? And it is true. Not only can you go to San Francisco, you could go here into Seattle. You could go into Seattle and you can order some shark fin soup. But now that you know what it is and the importance of the sharks, maybe you choose not to have that. There was a Seattle councilwoman that she proposed a law that she was laughed at. She proposed a law to outlaw shark fin soup here in Seattle. She was aware of the issue. She was laughed at and made fun of for what a silly law. That's not a good law. We're supposed to make laws that are important to Seattle. And they decided that was not an important law here in Seattle. So, shark fins, they're cut off and then they're put in soup. And the cartilage oozes out of the soup and it makes the soup, nice and thick. And because it's thick now, there's more taste in the soup. Sharks are cartilaginous fish. They have no bones. I know some of you guys have the question, but what about this? What about the teeth? What about the teeth of sharks? Aren't they bones? No, they're not bones. They're not bones. What they are modified scales. These things are just scales. Yeah, these are pretty sharp scales, but they're not strong. And because they're not strong, they're commonly broken off. And because they're broken off, they have to get constantly replaced. That's why they have many rows of these teeth, these modified scales that keep moving forward, and they push the old teeth, the old scales out, and then they just keep making them. And it explains why they got to have a whole lot of them, like maybe 3,000 of them. I got to end my video. Start doing part 2 now.